Space Hulk Deathwing. Is it worth a buy? Let's read the words of somebody that isn't Relic. Space Hulk Deathwing is a first-person shooter experience based on Games Workshop's classic Space Hulk board game set in the universe of Warhammer 40,000. Space Hulk Deathwing offers you and up to 3 of your friends the chance to experience the desperate battle against gene stealers in the claustrophobic tunnels of a Space Hulk. You also gain skills, new abilities and new equipment as you earn experience during missions, but let's hope there's no X-ray f***ing vision in it. First of all, guys, it's good to be back, and those of you who watched my November update will know exactly what I'm talking about, why I've been away for a while, why I'm in a new house now, and why my life's all totally changed. But anyway, let's get on with this. Before I start, I'm a huge Space Hulk fan. I'm not one of these people that went into the Warhammer game places, you know, on a Saturday morning and painted little miniatures. No, I don't have a beard. Actually, I do have a beard. I'm growing a beard. I don't wear Marvel t-shirts and have a girlfriend with blue hair. Don't have anybody, actually. But I did first play Space Hulk back in, well, it felt like it was the 80s, but it couldn't have been. I had my 386 PC with DOS 6 as the operating system, and I had to run MemMaker just to get Space Hulk to work, and it was a totally different experience to what this game is. That was a strategic top-down kind of game, although you could go into first person, I believe, but it was a bit kind of, it was kind of, guys. It wasn't like what this is. This is a first person shooter with slight tactical overtures from Space Hulk, but it isn't as deep as what you would get with the strategy version of it. I re-reviewed the remake of it. I think it was last year, the year before, and that was way more strategic to this, where you use guys to block doors and all the rest of it, and the whole way you died and took damage was different in that, so you can't really compare the two. This is kind of just like a first person shooter of that, but you have to really understand what Space Hulk's about. It's about going into these derelict spaceships that's just floating around, these hulks, if you like, and finding relics and different things in them, and knowing that they're full of gene stealers, which are they're like aliens from Alien films, if you're not familiar with the 40k world, and they are fast. They've got like really sharp claws that can rip through your armor and into your face. There's hybrids that fire guns, then there's stealthed ones. There's all kinds of bigger and better ones as you get further into the game, and they're infesting these hulks, and you've got to work as a team. It's all about teamwork when you're going around, and the way you do it, if you're playing single player, it's quite good, because the AI, I found, it is good at certain things but bad at others. I mean, it's great at watching your back as you go around the Space Hulks. You just lead the way, and they'll be watching your arse, and not literally looking at your buttocks, but like they'll be facing the opposite direction as you and watching anybody that's coming up behind you, and you can equip them with whatever weapons you find. I find the autocannon's great, and they'll really protect your backside, and then you have a healer who can heal you as well and heal the squad mates, and you have the apothecary, which is, he's a bit of a magical guy. He has like different powers. He has like a blast wave of energy. He has electrical damage. He has whatever you unlock, because there's a skill system in this, and you unlock new abilities as you level up and go through the game. So there's a lot going on, and I found the AI quite good at doing all those things. What he's bad at is jumping in front of you while you're mowing down gene stealers. They do that a lot, which can be annoying, especially with a limited FOV. I mean, you can adjust the FOV, but it only goes up to 90, and it just never ever feels enough. It just feels that, especially when you're using the flamer, and it takes up half your fucking screen. It's so annoying. So the FOV's a bit shit. It does feel like a console port, but I don't believe this is out on consoles yet. I know it is coming next year. Well, you know, in a few weeks, I guess, because this year's nearly over. But it did feel very clunky, the controls. Not the mouse and keyboard combat controls, they're slick as anything. It was just the kind of, when you go into the map mode, for example, and you're zooming in on the map and you want to scroll around, I found that annoying, really annoying. It's not slick at all. It's really clunky. But the actual combat, I found fine. I mean, I'm using a flamethrower most of the time. The flamethrower is just it's the best flamethrower I've ever seen in a game. It's even better than the Wolfenstein one. It is really top draw stuff, this, and it feels really good. And I know this game is getting raped on Steam. It really is getting hammered, and everybody's saying that it's shit and it's got mixed reviews, and it's had, I think, 1,300 reviews so far, and it's only at 50%. So there is something clearly wrong with this game, but I haven't found what it is, and I am quite amazed at the fact that all these people are absolutely ripping it apart. I mean, even Total Biscuit didn't like it. And I've run this on my 1070, which has an i7 6800 in it, and 32 gig of RAM, and it's on maximum settings, and I've never had frame drops, problems with it or anything. It's just running perfect. Never had a single crash. So I then downloaded it onto my other system, which is a GTX 770 with an i7 3.4 gig in. It's a third generation i7, and it ran fine on that. Obviously I was on medium settings with that, but I've never had a crash on that either, and that's been running, and it's been running at a good frame rate as well. So I don't know what the problem is. I'm not having any problem. That was on Windows 7, so I've ran it on Windows 10 and Windows 7, and I've never had a single crash, not had any stuttering or anything. It just runs fine. It runs fine, you know. That I can only review what's in front of me. Now, I'm not saying everybody's lying, because obviously not. There are problems with this, but I'm not having any, so anyway, get on with the game. There's 9 different missions on this, and they're called chapters. Now, that doesn't seem a lot, but they're lasting about 40 to 45 minutes, some of them. I mean, some of them are over in 20 minutes, but each one you'll do your first objective, then you'll get another objective, then another objective, then another. So and the maps are getting bigger and bigger. They're getting huge, some of these maps that I'm going into. So the game is quite long as well. I'll come into co-op in a minute, but I just want to concentrate on the single player campaign first of all. Like I said, the AI is pretty decent, although it does get in your way now and then. There are a few bugs where I've found gene stealers stuck in walls and stuff like that, but I've only seen one of them, so it's not like it's laden with bugs. But what I want to say is the atmosphere of this game is insanely good. The immersion factor is just off the scale for this game. It is the noises, the sound effects, the graphics, the artwork. It just looks and sounds and feels amazing when you're going around. It is so edge of your seat stuff, especially when there's not a lot happening. Now, as the missions develop and then you're constantly getting attacked, yes, it does get a bit repetitive, but firing that flamethrower just doesn't get old. It just doesn't get old. I just love purging a whole fucking corridor with flame, guys. It's insane. It's really good, especially when you get into the open areas and you've got to try and get across them fast, because you know you're just a sitting duck and getting back into the corridors. It's really, really good and atmospheric. The mission structures are really good as well. What you have to do, it's all different. It's not just fetch missions and stuff. You've got to destroy things, open stuff, find stuff. There's doors that are locked. You can hack them to get through them. There's turrets that you can take over and fire at the enemy, or you can just destroy them. You can enable them or disable them. There's lots to watch out for. You've got to be careful when you're hacking as well, that you're not vulnerable, because if they hit you with any of their weapons, they will interrupt your hacking, which can be very annoying. You can heal each other. You can order your squad mates to open doors, hack doors, guard doors, wait or follow. It's a bit clunky, but you can still do it. And also that you can open a side gate. Now what that does, that will take you out of the action where you get your whole squad healed and revived. That seems like a bit easy mode, but this game is tough. Let me tell you, I've tried it on many of the different difficulty levels, and it is not an easy game. Even on the lower difficulty levels, it's still quite a challenging game, and you will need all your heals and your side gates, believe me, especially on some of the missions where it's just relentless and you've got really harder armored enemies coming at you. So kitting your squad out for the mission is important, and you can change their squad armaments halfway through a mission by entering a side gate, which is very, very handy if you suddenly need a different type of weapon. Now, talking of the weapons, I've already mentioned the flamethrower is amazing. The autocannon is great. It's a great suppressing weapon. It's great for rear guard defenses. It has a big capacity, very high rate of fire, and the bullets just rip people's heads off. It's very good. It is prone to jamming, as is the flamethrower. Your base weapon's the storm bolter, which doesn't jam very often, but it's not the best weapon. It's decent, but you'll want to get rid of that and get some better ones as you go through. There's a lot of different variety of weapons. There's a weapon here for everybody, you know, but the flamethrower is my weapon of choice for pretty much everything, and I equip me mates with ranged weapons, so I don't have to worry about range. So it's a very complete game in that sense, but it does have optimizational problems, clearly, or there wouldn't be so many negative reviews on it. The co-op side of things is a disappointment. I streamed this last night and I did a co-op with a couple of the guys. I had great fun. It is great fun in co-op, but, and here's the but, you can't progressively play through the game in co-op. So it's a bit shit. You can just say, hey look, let's do mission 5, and then you do mission 5, and whatever you find on mission 5, if you then do mission 6, you don't keep. So it's kind of bare bones co-op, and that's a bit shit for 2016. I mean, bloody hell. We were doing co-op campaigns back in the 90s. What the fuck? You know, get your finger out. Bloody hell. You know, 2016, for a game of this price, we should be able to play it all the way through in co-op. That's a bit shit, but I love the game. I do actually love this game. I've only played it for about 5 or 6 hours on me 1070 and about an hour on the 770. And like I say, no crashes, loving the immersion. The voice acting's a bit shit, but I love the artwork. I'm loving the combat. I love the mission structure. I just love Space Hulk. I mean, I've always been a Space Hulk fan, and I'm going to thumb this up because I see very little wrong with this for the price. There's plenty of options as well to choose from to get the game to run better if you're running a slower system. You've got full control over the graphics. There is a FOV slider that I did mention, but it only goes up to 90. You've also got good control over the audio as well, so plenty here to tweak your system with. It's worth a buy, and people are going to say, oh, you're a sellout. Well, I'm not. I just like the game. I can only review what I experience. I mean, I can't review what other people have experienced, and if they're crashing, well, they're crashing, but I'm not. I haven't had a crash, I haven't had a frame drop. It's running like shit off a shovel. It really is, and it's really enjoyable. It sounds great, it looks great, it plays great. I'm having a ball with it, and I hope they do release a patch to fix it for everybody who's not having a ball. So I can play co-op with a few years in some streams, but it's a really, really atmospheric game. It does get a bit repetitive, but it is great fun. Highly recommended if you're into Warhammer 40k, especially if you're into the Space Hulk side of things. But I'm giving it a thumb up. I love it.